the power of making a business plan. In that business plan, you will sell your passion, you will define your project, you will set goals, you will set milestones, and you will give yourself a discipline to review what you have done and what you have accomplished. It's important for you to know what you're doing, because often what we see in entrepreneurs is that they're good, they have skills in what they're giving to the clients, but sometimes the skills regarding the marketing side, the financial side is lacking. If you don't lean on someone to accompany you in that field, then it might be a challenge. If you're spending $1.10 to produce $1, how long will you last? It's impossible to achieve. If you're not following your goals and you're not following your statements, you might end up nowhere. When a bank says no to your project, we're not saying that you cannot do it. We're asking you to look at certain aspects of your project and come back to us with those definitions and see how we can strive on it. We will often give you references in terms of go and see this person in terms of your business plan. And there's lots of organizations, even with the group here, that will accompany you in that skill, and you'll see it's going to make a big difference. You have to know what you need in terms of financial needs. Often we want to start big, and you might just want to start slowly. We'll accompany you in that field and it will bring you to a certain level. Success stories I've seen is that it's people that really started slowly, were following all of the things that they were doing, and one of the elements that they were not doing, and I see this, 90% of the people manage their cash flow with the tax they collect on their goods and service. 90% of people use that as a cash flow. Just remember, 3 months is fast. And then Revenue Canada comes and basically requests that you basically hand over those taxes. So make sure that you're not using that, and talk to your financial advisor. He's going to, or she is going to be able to give you some tools in terms of banking where you can set aside those funds so that you can manage well your cash flow. Learn about the regulations in your community and your municipality in the field where you're doing business. I've seen cases where people would set up a business in their homes. And what would happen if more than 20% of the space was used for your business, guess who came knocking at the door? The bylaw officer. And guess what? You're now taxed on a commercial base for your housing. So if you don't plan this in your financial plan, you might see a challenge there. Determine the type of business you want to work in. Are you going to be a sole proprietorship? Are you going to look at a partnership? If you go into a partnership, how will you define who will do what? Make sure you take that time. And if you're very successful in that partnership, make sure you have a buyout agreement. If for a reason or either there's a separation or a cease in the partnership, and you don't want this spouse coming in and telling you what to do and things like that, make sure you plan that ahead. I've seen places where I've accompanied a gardener, a landscaping company, and they had trucks and they were not incorporated. And employees were using the truck to get to the place and guess what? An accident happened and they hit someone. And it was a sole proprietorship, and then all of a sudden they become responsible. So make sure that you take the time to sit with a lawyer. You're not a lawyer, and sometimes they do cost a lot, but take the time to assess that and see what you need in terms of legal structure. Take the time to have an accountant, a friend that is in the accounting field, assess your plan. It certainly helps when you come to me and you say, well, you know, my accountant has overlooked my projections and did that. I probably will talk to the accountant if I have any questions. I'm reassured by the fact that you've taken that time to have someone else look at it. You know, when we have a dream and we have passion and we're really focused and we can do this and nothing else, we look at nothing else, sometimes we overlook elements, and these people can give you a good insight and, you know, put the light on certain aspects and say, well, you know, you look at this. If you're going into a marketing plan and you say, hey, I'm good, and I think I can get 50% of that market share, dream on. That's not possible. It's often like 1, 2, 3% to start. And if you get to 10, you're friggin' good. You're friggin' good, and that's good. So those are elements you want to think of. Make sure that you're protected if you ever decide, and the bank does agree to basically lend you some money. Make sure you're protected. As my colleague said here earlier on, I've seen entrepreneurs lose everything because for a stupid little accident they were out of work or they couldn't do the work, and they're by themselves in the company. No one else is doing the job. And 6 months of therapy made it that it didn't work out. So make sure you protect yourself. And sometimes, you know, we're overstating the protection that we need to get, but this is your main bread, your main income. It's worth putting in a little bit of money to protect yourself. And finally, talk to your advisor. Don't treat him as someone against you. We're people. We strive on helping businesses achieve their goals, and we like to know what's in the works so that we can either help you grow or basically put you back on the right path. So, you know, I've seen scenarios where, you know, the person is in cash flow problem, he's writing NSF checks, he's not talking to us. What do? We pull the plug. As opposed to if we're talking and we know that there's a challenge and we can, you know, I've seen places where in seasonal businesses, I've waived the payments during the season where it was hard, and I've increased the payments when the cash flow was good. So you need to talk to your advisors. Don't be afraid of them. We're not that bad. We're not that bad. We're open to discussion. So those are the main elements that we look at. And hopefully, if you have a dream, you can take the time to put it down on paper, to sell yourself, to structure it, to give yourself goals, and make sure you follow them afterwards. Because, you know, if you said to yourself, I should, after 6 months, do $25,000 of revenue, or even $100,000. If you're at 30, you're off goal. You got to reassess. You have to refocus. You have to rethink the plan. What am I doing wrong? What I have not done? And refocus. But if you don't follow that, you'll end up after a year, and if you're at 40, you'll be very disappointed. So make sure that you do track that, and you should be on your way to a good success. I believe it.